No sooner do I arrive at the crossing at Jersey Pike than here comes NS 338, a southbound manifest train. Unfortunately for us rail fans today, 338 would be causing a lot of trouble in just a few moments, as just when the train rounded the curve in the distance, the train separated and went into emergency. This in turn caused NS 264, the northbound roadrailer, to slow to a crawl as it came up to Jersey, and in turn caused the 4501 to be late departing Grand Junction. But it worked out well anyways, as 264 had a pair of Union Pacific GEs for power, and tucked behind the lead units of the train is the Triple Crown 10,000th roadrailer. Although it says Triple Crown on it, this trailer was first introduced by Wabash International as the 10,000th Wabash trailer and was originally sold to Amtrak, hence the Phase 4 stripes. However, once Amtrak ditched their roadrailer service, this trailer ended up in Triple Crown service and was given the Triple Crown branding. There were a lot of people out at Jersey Pike today waiting on the 4501, and for the most part everyone worked together to make sure nobody was in each other's shots. All except for this guy.
Seriously?
Can't win them all, I guess.
Listen.
Shortly after 264's passing NS 060, with the 4501 in the lead, came up the hill from Grand Junction and proceeded on to Cleveland, Tennessee. Unfortunately, the delays with 338 meant the train was an hour late departing from Grand Junction. After the 4501 cleared, I headed back down the hill towards Grand Junction. TVRM's Railfest 2015 was very special this year, as Norfolk Southern, in addition to bringing the exhibit car, also brought down two very special locomotives, SD60E's 6920 and 911. 6920 is, of course, Norfolk Southern's Honoring Our Veterans locomotive that was painted and rebuilt at the Juniata shops in 2012. 911 is the newest SD60E in a special paint scheme. It's very similar to the Veterans unit. However, this engine honors first responders, for example, firefighters, police, and EMS services. In addition to the SD60Es, TVRM's GP7 number 1912 sat on display in her fresh TVRM paint scheme. The Norfolk Southern Lawman Band was on hand, as well as other bands to entertain the crowds during the day. There was also several model railroad displays as well, including this Garden Railroad display that was set up next to the Grand Junction Depot. The action begins to pick up as TVRM GP7L 1829 arrives with the local, and NS-9 9190 departs on the main line with a double-stack train. 1829 was one of the first Jeeps to arrive on TVRM's property and was built originally for the U.S. Army. The passenger cars for today's local is standard fare, coach number 1000, coach 906, and RDC car number 20. Training and on-training passengers, 1829 departs for another trip to East Chattanooga. Waving out of the cab of 1829 as they depart is my friend Jacob Riley. As the afternoon dragged on, we all began to wonder the same thing. Where's the 4501? She should have been back by now. As it turned out, in addition to the delays caused by 338 separating, 4501 had been struck with a bad load of coal which was now affecting her firebox grates. She slowly arrived at Grand Junction where they would attempt to correct the problem. Even just slowly cruising down the hill and with a bad load of coal affecting her, the 1911 Baldwin Mikado makes a grand sight steaming into the station. The car of interest for me today was this Florida East Coast passenger car. Called the St. Augustine, this car is owned by the Watauga chapter of the National Railroad Historical Society, which leases out passenger cars to various operations, including TVRM. This car was also seen on N&W 611's trips earlier this year. After the 4501 arrived in the station, she was thronged with admirers. But the problem was getting those admirers out of the way so that the crew could examine the engine to see if she could continue running the rest of the day. After 4501 was uncoupled from the train and moved off to the side, it was eventually determined that she was not going to be able to pull the final trip to Cleveland, Tennessee that afternoon due to her bad coal and the damage to her grates. NS 6920 was pulled out of the display yard and would pull the final trip to Cleveland that afternoon. But even with all of this going on, I'd say this was still a great Railfest, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Until next time, this is Ravenhawk 6910, signing off.